but sources say a human turned into a rock fearing defeat at the hands of his enemies. That's the story of Buneri, a warlord whose enemies decided to inflict wounds on a rock shaped like a human they were pursuing. The rock has since then had blood oozing from its sides, hence the name the Bleeding Rock. Rafiq Salam has more in the Ghana Month report.
Paralagahe is a predominant Lobian farming settlement located in the southwestern end of the West district of the Upper West region. Located a couple of kilometers from the community is Bonare, named after an ancient warrior who was leading his people in an ethnic war and upon smelling defeat fell into a rock. His clansmen returned to the rock and saw several beads of blood ooze from the rock as a result of the machete wounds inflicted on the rock, suspected to be a human by his enemies. On our Ghana Man series today, we explore the history behind the 17th century Bunari, now rechristened Bleeding Rock. Unknown to us about the location and mileage of Bonare, we set off on our case footage, knowing too well that we'll reach there in no time. We reach the outskirts of the community, and it's the farthest our car could go because of the deplorable nature of the road. We alighted, pack off all gadgets, walk across the dried up valley, and bump into a tricyclist who we begged to send us to the area. He agreed to take us for free, but later changed his mind and asked for 30 Ghana cedis. The road to Bonare, where the Bleeding Heart Rock is located, is not for the faint-hearted. The road is deplorable, bumpy. Actually, it's not really in good shape because there are a lot of farming activities taking place here. Coupled with that, a lot of illegal miners who have done a lot of several pits, and so one has to meander your way through to get in there. And so we are on a tricycle, on the bucket of it, heading to Bonare. We were led to Bonare by one of the elders of the Tindambes, Mbasiri Tubiri Kumpalang. We handed him 1 Ghana cedis for him to seek permission for us from Bonare before we kickstart our work. Standing from afar, you see a human-like creature. Getting closer, you see the mystery surrounding it. Private tour guard Abdulaziz Belpo took us through the history of the human-like shaped rock.
This is what is referred to as the Bleeding Rock. History has it that an ancient warrior by name Buneri, some time back, there was a tribal war, and he was leading his people. And he got to a point and realized that the raiders or the enemy was closing up on him and his group. So what he did was that he asked his followers to go to one direction while he diverts the attention of the raiders. And he himself, Buneri, was a very spiritual person, very powerful. He believed he could manifest into various objects and later turn back into human. So he asked his followers to go one direction whilst he diverted the attention of the enemy. He did exactly that, and whilst the enemy closed up on him, at a point, he turned himself into this rock to disguise himself from the enemy or the raiders. Unfortunately, the raiders, we are told, traced his footsteps to this very rock, and the footsteps ended at exactly where the rock is. And as you can see, the rock is shaped in some form of a human or an old person with a hunch. I'm told that one of the raiders suspected this was a human being that turned to the rock because, one, that was where the footsteps ended, and the rock kind of looked like a human being. So it was advised that, well, if it is a human, they should inflict cuts or wounds on the rock. What that means is that once you inflict cuts or wounds into the rock, the spirit will be trapped inside. The spirit will not be able to come in or go out of the object. So these cuts were said to be inflicted with an axe. And because it was a human being that turned into a rock, he started bleeding. And as you see, depending on what time you come here, you either see fresh or dried blood. This is dried, yeah, but dripping from the cuts inflicted by the axe.
So this blood that you are talking about, it never get dried?
Well, at any point in time you come here, you definitely see blood, either fresh or dried. Today, unfortunately, the blood is dried. But if you look at the other side, this way, you realize that these are even older blood stains. Maybe probably from last year or something. Very older blood stains. When I visited here last year, these bloods were fresh, dripping from the top. So at any point in time you come, you see either fresh or dry blood, but you see the marks.
It is the belief of the people that Buneri was their forefather who turned into the rock and has always come around to pray and offer sacrifices for good fortune. The evidence are these empty beer and aquatic bottles thrown all over around it.
The indigenes believe that this stone here is or was their ancestor who turned himself into a stone to protect or to defend the entire community. So from time to time, they come to pray here, they come to offer sacrifices here, and to seek goodwill and good fortune. For example, those who farm around, before the farming season, they come here to offer sacrifices, fowls, drinks, and other things, even money, so they can have a good yield. Others that do hunting, once they get here during hunting expedition, they offer sacrifices to the stone that they call their ancestor, hoping to get a good harvest. So these bottles you see here contain alcohol, mostly brought in by people who come to offer sacrifices. And at certain times, some people also come here to make demands or wishes. And once those wishes or demands are fulfilled, they also come to fulfill their pledges. So in some cases, they come with cash, they come with animals, and they always come with drinks.
As his people says, one major challenge faced is the deplorable nature of the road, and if fixed, will improve and attract sea of tourists here.
The road network connecting from Busa to Kpagalaghe, connecting from Kpagalaghe to this site, is of more trouble, especially during the rainy season. It is not just accessible at all. So I think that if the road network can be improved, this particular attraction will attract a lot of people.
Apa was regional director of the Ghana Tourism Authority, Moses Winnie in the Buri, agreed hook, line, and sinker with him.
There is actually the need for actual accessibility to the tourist sites. Not only this site, but other adjoining attractions within this community. When we are able to get an accessible road to this place, we will actually open up the place for more tourists to come and then visit. And of course, we recommend adventure tourists to come around. Those that will be able to get means to can equally patronize this particular place.
Reporting for JoyNews, Rafik Salam, Paralagahe.